Jesus is the one who disrupts the status quo. There's all sorts of status quos in our culture. There's status quos around sexuality, just status quos around politics, status quos around economics, racism. And there's all sorts of ways of engaging the status quo, a consensus view. But Jesus has a way of disrupting the consensus. Jesus has a way of disrupting the status quo. Instead of engaging the status quo on I'm agreeing with you, or I'm not agreeing with you, or I'm affirming or I'm not affirming, or I'm arguing with you, Jesus goes and dwells among the people, listening, asking questions, healing people, reconciling people. He never chooses to enter into the world or the status quo on the world's terms. And neither is it a middle way, like halfway between I'm agreeing with you or not agreeing with you. It's always a disruptive way. In Matthew 12, the disciples are walking around the grain fields and they're plucking grain, and the Pharisees are upset, you're breaking the law. He heals somebody on the Sabbath. The Pharisees are upset because he's breaking the law about healing the Sabbath. Jesus doesn't get into an argument with them. He just starts asking questions. He just starts listening to them. He just starts healing people. This is the way Jesus goes in and disrupts the status quo. And in verse 30, he says, "He who is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters." Notice the word with. He's talking about he who is not present there with me, in my relationship with me, is against me. And he who does not come along with me scatters. And so he never makes enemies. His presence reveals enemies. And it's in submission to his presence where we go and be among people, where we listen to people, where we ask questions of people, where we bring the healing of the gospel, where we bring the reconciliation of the gospel, that the strongholds of our time, of our culture, of our ideologies are disrupted. This is the way Jesus disrupts the status quo. This is the way we're called as the church, to go be among people and disrupt the status quo for the kingdom of God.